What should you buy instead of a Disney World park ticket? How to avoid the problem of unexpected closures, and how you can improve your chances of getting a seat at a popular restaurant on the day of your visit. Find out the answers for all these questions and more today on DFB Guide. Hey everyone, it's AJ for Disney Food Blog. It is time to plan your awesome vacation for this year. Today we're going over the right way to prepare for your upcoming trip so you can avoid all the wrong choices and the mistakes we've made that might confuse and frustrate you while you're waist deep in the planning process. By the way, are you looking for free printable worksheets that'll help you keep track of the plans you make for your future Disney World vacation? Then make sure to drop us your email at disneyfoodblog.com/disneyplans, and we'll get our complimentary DFB planning sheets for 2023 dropped into your inbox right after this. So launching right into when you should go, Disney World has well-known and feared peak seasons when crowd levels are at an all-time high, like you'll find during spring break or the week of Thanksgiving or basically the whole month of December these days. But Disney also has sneaky busy seasons that you may not realize will make the ride lines just as long as those peak season times. So we've sifted through the rest of the year to find out which days need to be on your radar as another ultra busy time that you'll either want to avoid or just be aware of so you're not taken off guard with the crowd levels when you do show up in Disney World then. Underrated busy times at Disney World for the remainder of 2023 include May 4th, because it's Star Wars Day, which particularly impacts Disney's Hollywood studios, Memorial Day weekend, Gay Days the first week of June, 4th of July and 4th of July weekend. The kickoff of Food and Wine Festival starts July 27th. Labor Day weekend, and Disney's Wine and Dine Half Marathon, November 2nd to the 5th. If you're looking to avoid these rather intense crowds, try planning your visit around these times instead. The week before Memorial Day, mid-May before school's out for the summer, mid to late August when school is back in session. This is kind of the only guaranteed dead time in Disney World. Anytime after Labor Day in September, and earlier on in November before Thanksgiving break. Next, let's get you the best savings. Sometimes you don't have a lot of wiggle room when it comes to your vacation time, but if you do have wiggle room, let's use that to our advantage. The pricings for Disney's park tickets and hotel rooms do fluctuate depending on when you decide to go. So if you're looking to book the cheapest time frame, come up with a few different travel days and times that you could work with and play the price comparison game. Fortunately, Disney doesn't hide the fact that their ticket and hotel room prices change regularly, so you can plan out the cheapest time frame for your group just by checking out the Disney World website. It's also not a bad idea to book your vacation during the weekdays instead of on the weekends, since hotel rooms tend to run cheaper around those times too, so definitely Sunday to Thursday if possible. And don't forget to check out Disney's special offers, deals, and discounts page just in case there's a promotion going on that could help you save the big bucks on those vacation packages, because Disney's not going to just apply that without you asking for it. You have to actually click the button to say you want to apply it. I know, I just gave you a lot of information right there, but if you want some professional guidance to help you do all this heavy lifting and the price comparisons, then you can reach out to our favorite agency, Small World Vacations, for assistance. Those are professional travel agents. All of them are full-time travel agents. They can help you find the best savings for your trip and are an absolutely free service for you to use. I have met many of them. I get awesome notes from our viewers and readers saying how much they enjoyed using Small World Vacations. So if you want to reach out for a quote, I will link their info down in the description below. All right, time to learn the pros and cons of Good Neighbor hotels. Good Neighbor hotels, GNHs, which aren't directly owned by Disney but still partner with Disney, can be a lifesaver for you, but they can also be a major pain in the you-know-where. So before you take the Good Neighbor hotel approach, it's best that you know the pros and cons of choosing to stay at one of these places versus staying directly with Disney. Pros here. Good Neighbor hotels are usually much cheaper and provide a lot more bang for your buck. For example, the cheapest room you're going to find from the Disney-owned resorts is a standard room at All-Star Sports for around $130 per night, which gives you a single bathroom, 2 queen-size beds, and not a whole lot of extra room otherwise. Meanwhile, the Good Neighbor Doubletree Suites by Hilton Orlando provides 1 to 2 bedroom suites starting at $109 per night. Good Neighbor hotels also have similar Disney-owned resort benefits, including free shuttle transportation to the parks, early theme park entry, which allows you 30 minutes before they officially open, and depending on which hotel you choose, you might even be within walking distance to some key Disney World locations. Some of them are very, very close to Disney Springs, And the Walt Disney World Swan and Dolphin and the Swan Reserve have direct walking paths to both Epcot and Hollywood Studios. It's awesome. Now the cons. Good Neighbor Hotel benefits can be misleading. There are over 45 different Good Neighbor hotels for you to choose from, and not all of them are going to provide you with that shining Disney experience. Some of them may still be quite a distance away from the parks, meaning you'll have to factor in a whole lot of travel time from your hotel to the parks and back again. Sometimes those shuttle buses don't go as often as the Disney hotel buses go. Some charge guests for daily parking, and some may even have park shuttle services that you do have to pay for. And even with the shuttle services that are complimentary, those drop-off points for these shuttles are usually way out in the boonies past all the Disney-owned resort buses, sometimes in the middle of the parking lot. And in the case of Magic Kingdom, you're not going to find your Good Neighbor Hotel bus right up there at the front gates like all the other Disney buses. Instead, you're going to have to take a ferry or monorail all the way over to the Transportation and Ticket Center to find where your Good Neighbor shuttle is waiting for you. And not every Good Neighbor Hotel is going to have early theme park entry. In fact, out of the 45 different options, only 15 of them have this theme park benefit. I'll link the Disney webpage that has all participating hotels listed down in the description, because that's a lot to read. If you're not careful, you might miss out on the Disney perks entirely when you stay at a Good Neighbor hotel. In order to access those Prime Disney Park perks, you're going to need to make sure Disney associates your Good Neighbor hotel booking with your My Disney Experience account. Now, this is super important because this could waste valuable park time if you have to kind of get this sorted out. To do this, go to the Disney World website, click on the My Disney Experience tab, select the My Plans option from the drop-down menu, and log into your account. Then click on the resort hotel and choose to link a reservation. You'll be asked to type in your last name and your hotel confirmation number before you're all set. But if you forget this important step, then those early theme park hours you were going to rely on may not happen, or it may take you the entire 30 minutes to deal with guest services to actually be let in. Sometimes this is a problem, sometimes it's not, so best to just take care of it beforehand so you're not one of the unlucky ones. Now, if you've been planning your Disney vacation for a bit, or you've at least been keeping up with all the Disney drama since 2020, then you're probably well aware of the Park Pass reservation system by now. But if you're not, this is an online tool introduced after the 2020 closures, which allows you to make the required reservations to visit any of the 4 Disney World theme parks. And even though things are starting to go back to semi-normal after the pandemic changes, the Park Passes seem to be here to stay until the foreseeable future. Making Park Pass reservations as early as possible is a must-do if you want to guarantee a spot in the parks. You can begin making those reservations just as soon as you've purchased your valid park admission. However, don't simply buy your park tickets before checking the Park Pass reservation calendar first, because if you buy your tickets before checking to see if the parks you're wanting to visit have open availability, you might find that the park ticket you've purchased can't be used the way you want to use it. So, for example, if I buy a 2-day park ticket and I want to use one of those days for Magic Kingdom, but the day I was planning to visit Magic Kingdom is already booked up, I'm either going to have to adjust my itinerary or choose a different park that I wasn't as keen on visiting. I know I've been doing a lot of linking, but I'll go ahead and link the Disney World Park Pass calendar page just so you have really easy access to it. You can also look at this calendar right before you purchase your tickets too. When you go to purchase your tickets online, there's an orange warning at the top of the Disney World ticket page reminding you to check the Park Pass calendar before you proceed. Please don't take this warning lightly. It can be a real eye-opener for you and save you a ton of heartbreak in the end. And of course, you want to become a Disney Genie Plus guru before you go. Whether you're pro lightning lanes or against them entirely because they make you pay $15 to $35 per person per day in order to use them, it's still good to know all about this service before your trip. But why would it be important to know about Disney Genie Plus even if you're not planning on paying for it? Well, because knowing how other guests go about using lightning lanes can still be your greatest secret weapon. Let me give you an example. Let's say we're in Disney's Hollywood Studios. From your research that I'm hoping you've gathered from our DFB website and Genie Plus YouTube videos, right? You've discovered that Rise of the Resistance is so popular that you've got to pay an individual lightning lane per person per ride through just to bypass its main queue. You've also probably learned that some folks have to hit up guest services for an individual lightning lane refund because Rise of the Resistance can have its fair share of breakdowns throughout the day. So, this is probably a good ride to hit up during early theme park entry before the crowds get super duper heavy like they'll get during the afternoon. Not to mention, if this ride goes down earlier in the day, you'll still have time to try and hit it up again once it goes back online. Slinky Dog Dash tends to get booked up more quickly than some of the other Lightning lanes in the standard Genie Plus lineup, meaning you may want to wait to get in line for this one toward the end of the day, and maybe even during one of the Phantasmic showings, when lots of other guests are heading out of the ride lines and toward the nighttime spectaculars instead. And then you've probably also noticed that Star Tours usually has lingering Lightning Lane availability all day long, which means guests aren't exactly jumping to skip those lines because, well, the lines aren't that bad in the first place for this ride. So you can plan to hit up this one whenever it's most convenient for you, or when all the other ride lines are pushing much higher wait times that you don't want to mess with. See, even if you don't plan on buying Genie Plus or individual Lightning lanes, that doesn't mean you should avoid learning about these planning tools, because if you know how guests are using the services, you can still make a pretty solid game plan for yourself concerning which rides you'll need to make a beeline for in the morning, which you need to wait on when you see the wait times are sky high, and which you should hit up towards the end of the day or during the fireworks or big shows at night. Now, this next tip is super valuable and something that we've just sort of started to notice happening in Disney World. Use those walk-up wait lists sooner rather than later. If there's a restaurant you really want to go to while you're in Disney World, the best thing you can do for yourself is get an advanced dining reservation, which is going to open for pretty much all Disney table service restaurants 60 days before your trip kicks off. But if there's a park you decided not to make any advanced dining reservations for, or the place you really want to go doesn't take dining reservations, we may still have a solution for your problem, thanks to the Dining Tips board on your My Disney Experience app. The Dining Tip board not only shows you the next available arrival window for quick service restaurants, but also shows you which table service restaurants are accepting last-minute reservations or walk-up waitlisters. Nice, right? But here's the thing. You're going to need to decide early on if you want to use this nifty Dining Tip board, because if you wait till those prime lunch or dinner hours, it's going to be too late most days. For example, let's say you're at Disney's Animal Kingdom, you've hit the ground running and accomplished a lot by arriving at the park earlier in the morning, but now you've worked up an appetite. Originally, your plan was to grab a quick bite at Flame Tree Barbecue or Satuli Canteen so that you could get back out there and hit up more rides and shows as soon as possible, but you're actually making pretty good time, not to mention your family's starting to drag already, so escaping into the AC for an hour could do them a whole lot of good. But here's the problem, you go to the Dining Tip board and either A, the next available tables aren't listed until way later on in the day, even though you're hungry and tired right now, or B, they're already completely booked up and the walk-up wait list is gone. See the dilemma? It's always better to look for day of reservations and walk-up wait list availability at the very start of your park day before everyone else is getting on the Dining Tip board at the same time, thinking the same thing you are. They're hungry, they're tired, and they're ready for a nice meal. I always like to jump on the Nomad Lounge walk-up wait list, speaking of Animal Kingdom, at about 11, 11:30, 12 in the morning. If you're on the walk-up wait list, you might get in relatively quickly, or the longer you wait, the longer you're going to have to wait to get a table. But usually for Nomad, if you try to get on that walk-up wait list later in the afternoon, it's going to be gone for the day. So if you don't have reservations and you want them, do check in the morning. All right, next way to make sure you're going to have a great Disney World vacation in 2023, be ready to book those virtual queues. So virtual queues for Disney's brand new coasters, aka Tron Light Cycle Run in Magic Kingdom and Guardians of the Galaxy Cosmic Rewind in Epcot, can be great. They let you wait in a multi-hour line via your My Disney Experience app without you having to waste your entire physical day in a line, giving you the chance to explore the rest of the park until it's time for you to use your boarding pass. Don't worry, your app's going to let you know when it's your turn to ride, if you have those push notifications enabled. However, virtual queues can also be the cause of some of your biggest disappointments during your trip. Virtual queues usually drop twice daily, once at 7 a.m., once at 1 p.m. They also have an extra third drop at 6 p.m. for those who are using extended evening hours, and those are deluxe resort guests only. But because these virtual queues are so coveted, once they go live, they get snatched up in seconds. No exaggeration. 7 a.m. rolls around, 10 seconds pass, and boom, all those boarding groups are taken, forcing you to wait until the 1 p.m. drop instead, which could just wind up being history repeating itself if you're not fast enough. It's super nerve-wracking that there's no guarantee you'll get a spot in a boarding group or an individual lightning lane. You may not even be able to ride the newest ride, and that's a bummer when you've spent tons of money to be in that park in the first place. So let's talk about what you can do if you miss out on the free virtual queue. Well, those individual lightning lanes I mentioned, those are available for both of these coasters, and they allow you to bypass the virtual queue entirely. They still book up quickly when they go live at 7 a.m., but they don't go as fast as the free boarding groups do, so you've got a little bit of breathing room to actually get on your app at 7 a.m. and purchase. Now here's the catch. Individual lightning lanes only go live for Disney World hotel guests at 7 a.m., so if you're staying off property somewhere, you won't be able to purchase one of them until the park's open for the day, and by then, they'll more than likely be all sold out. This is another major downfall for many Good Neighbor hotels. Don't want to drop $15 to $20 per person per ride just to experience these new attractions? Then it's time to come up with a solid plan of attack. Tip number 1, always try for the 7 a.m. drop first. I know you love your sleep. I love it too. But if you wait until a 1 p.m. virtual queue drop to actually attempt getting a boarding pass, not only is that going to be your one and only chance to get one, but you won't have any practice with the system that'll help put the ball in your court. So, to be on the safe side, be awake and ready to grab a boarding group before 7 a.m. Remember, you can be anywhere at 7 a.m. to grab that boarding pass, even if you're still at the airport hours away, as long as you have an eligible park ticket and park pass reservation for the day that you're grabbing a virtual queue. For the 1 p.m. drop, however, you do need to be in the park where the ride is located. Tip number 2, don't rely on Disney's Wi-Fi. If you know your phone has a solid cellular data plan that can get high-speed connection without using Wi-Fi, then use that instead of Disney's resort Wi-Fi. Disney's Wi-Fi, especially in particular hotel rooms that are further away from the lobby, can be unreliable, and the last thing you need when you're scrambling to get into a virtual queue is unreliable internet. Tip number 3, confirm your party early. There are 2 steps you need to take on when you're joining a virtual queue. The first is confirming how many people in your group will need a boarding pass, and the second is joining the queue outright. But if you're ready to get this show on the road, you can actually confirm your group before that 7 a.m. drop time. Starting at 6 a.m., you can tap on the Join Virtual Queue button and select all the party members that will be needing a boarding pass. Then, when 7 a.m. rolls around, you'll only have to worry about joining, and you won't need to be slowed down by the additional step. Ready for me to drop some wisdom here? Do not underestimate the power of brunch. No, I'm serious. Not every restaurant in Disney World has brunch, and some only have brunch available during certain times of the week, specifically on the weekends usually. However, if you do stumble across a restaurant that serves brunch, you can enjoy 2 meals for the price of 1. Brunch is served during a time of day that'll fill you up for both breakfast and lunch. Then all you need to worry about after is dinner or maybe some snacks. But where can you grab brunch in Disney World? Well, here are a few of our personal favorites. Olivia's Cafe at Disney's Old Key West Resort has brunch available all day long, all throughout the week. You can order southern specialties here like the Spam Cheddar Biscuits, the Banana Bread Pudding, and the Sombrero Beach Omelet made with ham, green peppers, onions, and cheddar, topped with sour cream and pico de gallo. It's also worth mentioning that Olivia's Cafe usually has last-minute reservations available, so you don't have to overly stress about grabbing a resi for this one 60 days out. Now, we love eating at Homecoming in Disney Springs as well. But if you make a reservation for this down-to-earth restaurant on a Saturday or Sunday between 10 and 2, you'll be there just in time for the Rise and Shine brunch. Rise and Shine brunch serves up options like the house-made donuts with icing, pecans, bacon, and caramel, the Hush Puppy Benedict, and the short rib hash. And have you ever wanted to start your day with both a Dole Whip and a mimosa, but you assumed you'd have to choose one or the other? Vacation problems at its finest. At Wine Bar George in Disney Springs, you don't have to choose. The Wine Country Brunch happens at Wine Bar George on Saturdays and Sundays between 10:30 and 2 and features eats and drinks like steak and eggs, pecan and chocolate chess pie, and you know what's coming, a Froscato mimosa made with pineapple Dole Whip. Hear that? It's your taste buds thanking us for this amazing discovery. Now, ready to discover even more awesome eats around Disney World? Head to the DFB store website after this to download that 2023 DFB Guide to Walt Disney World Dining. Make sure to use the code YouTube to save on your purchase. It's over there at dfbstore.com. Now, I love this next tip, and you really want to think about it. Consider not buying a regular park ticket. If fighting theme park crowds all day long sounds like the opposite of a fun vacation, then maybe you shouldn't invest in those standard theme park tickets after all. Now wait, AJ, what are you saying? We should skip the parks when we go to Disney World? No, not saying that. What I am saying though is that maybe there's a better way to experience them without having to deal with the crowd stress, the heat, and the unbelievable ride lines. So Magic Kingdom, Hollywood Studios, and Epcot have after-hours events throughout the year. This means you can buy an after-hours ticket that'll get you into the park as early as 7 p.m. without needing a park pass reservation to enter. And it gives you the chance to stay in the park 3 hours after it closes for everyone else. And since these after-hours tickets are capped off for a limited number of guests per party, you won't have to stress over fighting off swarms of people to ride all the rides. And yes, that also goes for the most popular virtual queue rides like Cosmic Rewind, so there's another cheat for you to consider. And to help sweeten the deal even more, you'll also receive complimentary snacks throughout the night like popcorn, Mickey Premium ice cream bars, and bottles of soda. But keep in mind that these complimentary treats won't be available until the party officially kicks off, which happens after the park closes and all regular day guests are asked to leave. So here's the updated list of after-hours events for 2023, per the release of this video. Hollywood Studios has select after-hours events mainly on Wednesdays until June 28th. These tickets cost $149 per person. Epcot's after hours actually don't start up until June 1st, but when they do start up, they'll run until August 24th and mostly happen on Thursdays. Prices for these tickets range between $129 and $139 per person and are available for you to purchase now. Currently, Magic Kingdom finished up the last of their after hours at the end of March, but we'll let you know just as soon as we hear any news about future dates. Do note that many shows and restaurants are not open during these after-hours events, so if you're not as concerned about riding rides and you're more concerned about seeing shows and visiting certain restaurants, then the standard regular day ticket may still end up being the best option. So this is a huge tip. Disney's restaurant menus change. They change all the time. Sometimes it's because they rotate out seasonal selections, and other times they're just flat out switching one item for something else to keep things fresh or because there's some sort of a food shortage in there. But if you're not aware of these changes, then you might accidentally book a table for a restaurant that doesn't even have the thing you were hoping to order anymore. See, this is why I have a job, because food at Disney World changes all the time. So here are some of the latest food changes per the release of this video that you should be aware of. First of all, the 50th anniversary items have disappeared all around Disney World property, but some snacks are secretly sticking around, just going by a new name. For instance, the Glimmer and Shimmer Blondie from Backlot Express and Fairfax Fair in Disney's Hollywood Studios is now called the Toffee and Coconut Blondie. Everything else about it is the same as before, minus all the 50th anniversary flair. At Disney's California Grill and Disney's Contemporary Resort, several items were added or straight up replaced after the 50th anniversary, which you can learn more about in our latest video review of this restaurant, now live on the DFB channel. And here's a big travesty for you. The mini mango pie is no longer available at Yak and Yeti Local Foods Cafe in Disney's Animal Kingdom. And this used to be one of our favorite cheap desserts to order at the park, but don't cry yet, because this certain brand of mango pie is distributed by Kenny's Pies and can usually be found in local grocery stores like Publix or Kroger in the refrigerated case of their bakery. Now, if you want to continue being in the know about the latest Disney menu updates, make sure to sign up for our DFB newsletter. Better yet, if you drop us your email at disneyfoodblog.com/disneyplans for those ultimate Disney World worksheets, we'll go ahead and sign you up for the DFB newsletter for free. There, you're going to see blog posts every single week that tell you just about every single menu change in Disney World, so you can keep up to date on what's going on. Now, I don't know what your particular weather preferences are, whether you love the heat, love the cold, or love a moody storm cloud day, but surprisingly enough, Orlando has its fair share of all of these. Not so much the cold, but hey, it still happens every now and then. So let's look at what the weather could potentially serve up for the remainder of the year, just so you can plan ahead if you want to try to time your visit during the best possible temperatures for you and your group. If you are expecting a sunny and warm Disney World vacay, then May is your month to visit. While the averages are only a little higher than April, with highs of 88 degrees and lows of 69, it's in a pretty sweet spot of being not too hot, not too cold. In June, the average high for Orlando is 91 degrees and the average low is 73, which isn't much different for July and August. Sometimes you'll also see temps top out at 100 degrees, so make sure to pack the sunscreen, seek out shade frequently, and stay hydrated. By the way, that 91 in Orlando is very different from a 91 in, say, Texas or Arizona. Orlando is not the desert. It is literally packed with humidity. So a 91-degree day in Orlando, you're basically swimming through hot water. Speaking of, the summer months are also notorious for afternoon rain showers, so it's a good idea to prioritize any of those outdoor rides first thing in the morning. June is also when hurricane season begins. While it isn't often that Orlando will see one during this particular month, it's not totally out of the realm of possibility, so make sure to watch our What I Wish I'd Known Before Going to Disney World During Hurricane Season video before you head that direction, just in case. We got lots of really good information in there, including vacation insurance suggestions, cancellation policies, things to keep an eye out for so that you know what to do if one of those storms tends to pop up over there in the Atlantic a couple of weeks before you're heading down to Orlando. Now, at the start of the fall season, the averages are lower than what you'll find during the summer, but still not at like a chunky scarf and knitted sweater type of thing. The average high in September is 89, the average low is 74, so make sure to keep packing those shorts and tees. September also puts Florida smack dab in the middle of hurricane season, so we sometimes see some pretty intense storms come through around this time of year. Not always, but it did happen last year, so it's not out of the realm of possibility by any means. Fortunately, Disney World is extremely prepared for severe weather and has protocols in place to keep their guests and cast members safe. But if things get too terribly stormy, the parks will not open up that day. In October, you can expect temperatures to sit between a high of 85 and a low of 68. This time of year is when Orlando is finally starting to dip back into cooler temperatures, so when the sun goes down, you want to have something warm to slip on over your short sleeves. Want a really unique one that keeps up with the Disney theme? Check out dfbstore.com for our awesome selection of long sleeve shirts and sweatshirts. Now, November is the tail end of hurricane season, with average high temperatures sitting around 78 degrees and average lows at 60. And finally, if comfortable to cool temperatures and no rain is your thing, December could be the best time of year for you to visit. On average, Orlando only receives around 4 days of rain, while the average high sits at 75 degrees and the average low is 55 for that last month of the year. I feel like a weather person. Do I sound like a weather person? Okay, brace yourself now for what isn't going to be available. One word you don't want to use when describing your Disney World vacation: disappointing, which is why you need to prepare yourself for the things that may not be available during your 2023 visit. For instance, Splash Mountain closed for good back in January this year and is currently undergoing major renovations as it transforms into Tiana's Bayou Adventure. This new Princess and the Frog-themed log flume attraction won't open until later in 2024, so this area of Frontierland in Magic Kingdom will be heavy on the construction for the remainder of this year. The Tree of Life Awakening show, which usually happens in Disney's Animal Kingdom on the Tree of Life after the sun sets, currently doesn't have any future show time since the park closes around 8 p.m., which in the summer is before things get too terribly dark. However, once the days start getting shorter again toward the end of the year, we'll more than likely see this projection show or some version of this show come back again. We'll keep you updated once we learn more. Speaking of park hours, there are certain times throughout the year where Disney's park hours are shortened because of private events or cast member trainings. We're talking super shortened days here, as in guests gotta hit the road before the dinner bell sounds, like 5 o'clock. Always check the Disney World park calendar online to make sure you're not about to snag park pass reservations for a full price day that won't even let you see one of the nighttime spectaculars. And finally, don't for a second believe your Disney hotel can't surprise you with closures and construction too. So many pool refurbishments, lobby remodels, room updates have been happening across the board. So before you book a room, check your future resort's webpage on the Disney World website and see if any notices have been posted in orange towards the top of the page. Disney will warn you ahead of time about any construction and closures happening at the hotel via those orange warnings, so you don't have to be caught off guard when you arrive. But heads up, they may not give you a phone call or something and say, hey, didn't you realize that your pool is closed when you're staying at that hotel? So you kind of have to rely on yourself to go get that information. Or rely on us. Join our newsletter, we'll tell you about all the pool closures. All right, 2023 vacation, here we come. Now that you've got all these useful planning tools under your belt, it's time for you to start building your dream Disney World itinerary. Just don't forget, we have those detailed Disney World planning worksheets ready to send your way, which you can download after you drop us your name and email at disneyfoodblog.com/DisneyPlans. Thanks for listening, everyone, and thanks for watching. As always, this is AJ for Disney Food Blog, and we'll see you real soon.